Tell them check out the blog, bro. YouTube channel called MKO. It's pugilism, boxing algorithm. M stand for Marvin and Kevin's initials KO. Yeah. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, talking all things boxing. Right about now, remember to like, remember to subscribe to this channel, and more content will be on its way to you very shortly. And today I'm just going to speak to you briefly about Big George Foreman, who had a few words to say about the upcoming fight between Mike Tyson, Iron Mike Tyson, yep, coming back at 50 plus years old, and Superman Roy Jones Jr. And these two are gonna engage on September the 12th on a platform that's called Triller, which is a brand new platform. I understand it's some sort of media platform, and they've picked up this thing Mike Tyson has been saying for a while. He wants to fight for charity, you know, he wants to fight someone. There's been people who've offered him out. Apparently John Jones from the UFC has said he'll box him, and Shannon the Cannon Briggs, as we know, he's been campaigning for a while to sort of fight Mike Tyson, to have this thriller from Brownsville, as they're both from Brownsville, Brooklyn. Evander Holyfield has been doing training videos. I think Riddick Bowe's mentioned things. James Lights Out Tony has been talking about fighting. So, you know, Mike Tyson's sort of offer and his desire to get back in the ring has sort of ignited a fire in a lot of these older fighters, specifically Holyfield. I've seen him doing training videos, and it turns out that what we're going to have is an exhibition match between Iron Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. And this is going to take place, as I've said, September the 12th. I believe it's going to be, I don't know exactly what the location is. I don't know that they've mentioned it. I'd imagine maybe somewhere on the west coast of the States, maybe somewhere in LA or whatever. And apparently it's going to be a pay-per-view event in America there. I've heard stories about, I can't confirm whether it's true or not, but the YouTube sensation Logan Paul apparently fighting on this card as well. And you know, apart from Logan Paul's name and, you know, this main event between Tyson and Jones Jr., haven't really heard any other names that are going to be on this card. And today I'm just going to briefly mention George Foreman, who's popped up. He had an interview with TMZ, which they do, you know, a lot of these titles of their videos, which are kind of quick, they're kind of sound bites, and they're one that they're known for, like reporting these quick soundbite things. And yeah, there was a short interview with Big George Foreman, and he gave a few of his thoughts on Tyson versus Jones Jr. He stated that he is concerned, the title of the video is George Foreman is concerned that Mike Tyson or Roy Jones Jr. could get hurt. And in that interview, you know, George Foreman expressed that you know, when you're a younger man and you're boxing, you can get hit, you can get buzzed and dazed, but what you do is you shake off the effects of the shot, and you can still come back, and you can box on, you can fight on, you can sort of adapt and shake off the effects. But he was pointing out the fact that, you know, I agree with him here, that, you know, when you get older, you know, you get up there in your sort of late 30s, early 40s, 50s, you know, you get hit with a shot. In the words of George Foreman, he said, you might get hit as an older man and the effects last a week. And he said, when you get even older, the effects can last maybe a month, a year. And he said that, you know, he spoke about the very, you know, serious reality of that boxing and that punches can really have on your brain. And he said that some guys are never the same. And, you know, we've seen this in boxing. We've seen this with you know, the beloved Muhammad Ali, rest in peace. You know, he was never the same for boxing too long. Same with Joe Frazier. I think we see some effects on James Toney, you know, the slurred speech, Tommy Hearns, and a lot of these old legendary fighters who were great in their time. You know, they do show these effects from taking the shots. As far as Tyson and Jones go, Jones has definitely boxed on far too long. You know, he fought as recently as a few years ago, and he's sort of taken on Russia as his home. And out of him and Tyson, he's definitely the. It's hard to even say the fresher. I'd say he's been active more recently. Just to say that, Excuse me. Fought a few years ago, but you know his past few fights have, you know, he's been getting knocked out by guys like Enzo Maccarinelli, and you know, a lot of these guys who they would never be able to touch Roy Jones Jr. in his peak. As far as Mike Tyson goes, you've got to go back about 15 years to find Mike Tyson's last fight, you know, and I think that last fight was a knockout loss or something like that. Kevin McBride, that was the last guy to beat him and last guy to fight him, and he took him out. He took Mike Tyson out. So neither one of these guys are coming off of good form. You know, I'm kind of in agreement with Foreman that this is a you know, it's a very dangerous thing, really, this fight. It's definitely going to be attraction. It's not something that I really would say that I want to see, because I want to remember the good things about these guys. I don't want to see them getting in the ring at 50 odd years old, but at the same time, because of their legendary status and because of who they are, you know, people like me who will say, well, you know, I'd rather not see these older dudes get back in the ring. They're great in their prime. Let's just leave it there. Even guys like me will be tuning in, and I think that's where they're gonna sort of make their money, because a guy like Mike Tyson, you know, of course we understand what Foreman's saying about the danger here, but a guy like Mike Tyson, he's got that mystique about him. You know, I think there's people out there that are sort of naive enough to believe that Mike Tyson can come back and sort of beat a Deontay Wilder, or, you know, fight one of the champions like a Joshua or you know, there's actually people out there who kind of believe this stuff. So I think this is going to be a fight that is actually gonna sell. I think it's going to probably sell quite well. I'm sure there'll be people illegally streaming it, people legally streaming it, and I think this fight is going to generate a lot of money. And you know, it's interesting that it's going to be an exhibition, because they're kind of you know, the way Tyson's talking and Jones is talking and that, they're showing signing of contracts, and you know, they're kind of not mentioning the fact that it's an exhibition. On the advertisement itself, it says exhibition, but interestingly, I did watch an interview of Mike Tyson also on TMZ, and Mike Tyson said, listen, I only know one way to fight, man. I only know one way to fight. That's full throttle. You know, I only know, you know, so Tyson, you know, as I thought, he's claiming that, okay, yes, it is an exhibition, but he only know one way to fight, man, one way to knock somebody out. So I think this really is going to be fascinating to see how it plays out, because as much as it is an exhibition, I do find it very, very hard to conceive of any way in which Iron Mike Tyson is gonna sort of be going easy and just pity-patting with punches. You know, it's gonna be something else. Jones Jr.'s got to be careful. Obviously, Jones is the kind of smaller man, the lighter guy. Jones Jr. looks like he's in good shape for his age and stuff, but yeah, I tend to think this is going to be it's an exhibition, but I reckon there's going to be some big shots landed. I think they're going to use bigger gloves, which is good, but I think there's going to be some big shots landed in this exhibition, and I think someone like an Iron Mike Tyson, I reckon he'll get a bit carried away in this one. Jones is a bit more of a calmer demeanor. We'll have to see though. It will be interesting to see the outcome of this fight, and yeah, let me know your thoughts on this exhibition. And until next time, that's just my brief thoughts on it. It's MKO Pugilism. We're over and out. See you on the next one.